Love it.
Welcome to Let Freedom Ring. My guest today, we had a little bit of a not miscommunication, but like stuff comes up, and we got Chris Foster here live on Facebook on the YouTube channel. Chris, welcome to the show.
Better no better place to be. Good evening. I'm sorry about the miscommunication on my part, not yours.
No, I'm very happy to have you. I know there's a lot going on right now. We know the Celtics are on. We know the Free Jacks are playing, but I do appreciate you coming on the show. Shout out to the Free Jacks, 12-1. I think we're looking really good this year. This could be
Okay.
the year that we win. It's a
All right.
newer franchise, so.
See what happens. But
but
yes, Celtics are on game 2.
yeah, and I got a good feeling about that team too. So, but Foster, let's get to know you a little bit.
Yeah.
Where are you from? Where'd you grow up?
So I grew up in the North Shore of Mass. So I'm a North Shore guy. Saugus, Reading, Lynn, Revere, kind of floated all around, but mostly out of Saugus. I went to Saugus elementary, middle, high school, and then went to a few different high schools. High school wasn't the thing for me. We had to float around a little bit. Spent a little time in my teenage years in Florida, and then came back. But mostly Saugus and Lynn for sports in school, and that's so. I rep Saugus. I'm a Saugus guy, North Shore.
Very nice, very nice. How do you end up in New Hampshire? Is that just kind of like by chance?
So I went down to Florida at about back to Florida at the age of 21. Stayed down there for 7 years. Loved it. It was a great place to be in my prime. But I found my wife, and
Oh,
said,
okay.
I don't know if Florida really needs to be the place for me. I'm married. I'm gaining some weight. I just don't need to be in Florida. I want to be back with the family, and had a good opportunity up here, and took it, and then moved back up to New Hampshire. Didn't want to be in Mass. Didn't want to be in a hometown. Family was living in Maine, and I just thought the middle ground was New Hampshire. I mean, it's great. We're 45 minutes from the mountain, from the beach, from Boston. Travel a lot to the airports are right there. New Hampshire was the spot, and I'm glad I made the decision.
I actually say that a lot where it's like where people are dogging on New Hampshire. I'm like, you're right. We have everything here that you could ever want. I guess
Everything.
if you don't like winters, but
And I'm a big mountain guy, so I don't like the beaches. Like I said, I lived in Florida for a total of about 9 years because I was there when I was younger. I went to the beach maybe 10 times, and it was mostly for like 4th of July. I don't like beaches. I don't like when things touch me. I don't like going in the water. Not me. So I'm a big mountain guy, snowboarding, snowmobiling. So you put me on the mountains, I'm a happy man.
do you enjoy hiking? Do you get to hike a little bit or
Hiking, no. I'm a little lazy. I like for things to work for me. So if it has a motor or if it's a snowboard, if I don't have to do the work, I am thrilled. But no, hiking hasn't been my thing. I know you do a lot. I know you're doing a lot of the runs, a lot of the hikes, a lot of like the Ironman gridirons. I,
not
I
as
give
much
you a lot
now?
of
I'm a little
credit.
older, but yes.
It's a lot. It's a lot. I don't. My sister does it. I could never get into hiking.
No, totally understandable. But I appreciate that you love that because that's something I love about New Hampshire. Like, even just driving through there, you're like mesmerized by it. You know what I'm saying? So,
I drive
uh,
up the notch about 3 times a week. So I'm up in Franconia. We have a facility up in Bethlehem. It's in the middle of nowhere. I mean, population 2. And I get to drive up there a couple times a week. I love it. I lose service, so I disconnect for a little while, and
trust
it's
me, I know.
beautiful. It's beautiful.
No, it is gorgeous, and, I went to Plymouth State, so like I have a bias to all that. I just love the area.
Yep.
Um, we gotta ask this. We ask everybody this. What are three things that everybody should know about you?
3 things. The most important. It's not my identity, but really, it's who I am. I'm a man in recovery. So come September, God willing, I'll be 11 years sober. Drugs,
Nice.
alcohol, and again, that's not my identity. It's not really who I am, but it's the life I choose to live. I live a life of solid, pure principles today. Um, Now the big thing is, I think big with you is, I have feelings. I am a human being. I do have feelings. I can smile. I'm not a sociopath. I'm not crazy. So I do have feelings. I do have emotions. I don't show them often. I guess maybe it's because of some of the stuff that's gone on in the past. You said that I can't smile when I win a ring or I win a championship. But I'm always just what's next. I'm always looking at what's next. So not a sociopath, I promise. And another big thing that I like to tell people, especially the youth that I work with, is that I have accomplished everything with my GED. I'd studied for my GED while I was incarcerated as a juvenile, and as soon as I got out, within 3 weeks, at 16 years old or 17 years old, I had my GED and I was off to college. Didn't complete college right then and there, but I was always geared towards some sort of education. It just took me a little bit longer, but everything I have is with a GED, and that's really the first certificate of completion or accomplishment that I received. I think that's huge.
No, and I gotta say, like, because a lot of people, like, now you have your master's degree, not from like just anywhere,
Yeah.
Cornell. What would you say to somebody that's like, I'm getting my GED and then get to the level that you're on? Like, that's really impressive what you've done.
Yeah, you know, I didn't get good grades. Like I said, in high school, I went to 4 different high schools. I passed really maybe because I wanted to play sports, or I just didn't really want to get in trouble, or the court mandated me to pass. So when I chose to, get off the drugs and alcohol, I realized that I'm teachable and that I'm actually semi-smart. So I went, from the GED to a few different colleges. I went to electrical school. I'm a licensed barber. I laid floors. I've done a whole bunch of stuff, and then finally I said, no matter what I do, whether it's hospitality, whether it's cutting hair, it's all centered around helping people. It's all human services, right? I'm of service to somebody else, and I said, you know what? I'm going to get my undergrad in human services. I did that. Went to Springfield, and then I worked for a man years back. I choose not to say his name, but the one thing that he did tell me is that you can get yourself into a good school, and that you should invest in it, invest in your future. And I thought when he said that, we're talking about maybe just a BC or BU, which is great schools. And he said, no, go try to get into an Ivy League school. So I put in all these applications, and it was Columbia and it was Cornell. And with the scheduling and the hybrid program, having the opportunity to go to Ithaca and schedule and study actually on campus, go to MIT where they partner up with it was a better schedule and experience for me. Although COVID really impacted what the curriculum was, I really enjoyed it, and it was the hardest time in my life because of COVID and everything in healthcare. But I did it, and it just shows the type of person I am. I am as dedicated as it gets. If I tell you I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna do it. So to answer that question is, when I'm talking to people that are young, normally, I can't do that. I was in the Chick-fil-A drive-through a couple hours ago, and they said, I'm not going to college. And I sat there to myself, and I'm like, why not? Why wouldn't you go to college? You don't need an education to be successful. I know many uneducated, successful individuals out there, but why not just do it? You don't have to go to Cornell. Go to community college. It's just as good. And education's an education. But don't think you can't do it. And for a very long time, I thought that I couldn't, until I just put the application, and I wrote my essay. I'm kind of a manipulator, but I did it, and I went through it. It was the best decision I've ever made.
No, I love that. Love to hear that. And I know that you're a great individual. Why we want you on the show. But that is really impressive to be like, I got my GED and then to have a master's degree from Cornell. So I applaud that. Um, we do have a question. We ask everybody this on the show, and it's the toughest question on Let Freedom Ring. And it's something we ask everybody. What does it mean to you to be an American?
Funny when you'd say to be an American, right? And my undergrad's in human services, and a lot of it was, dealing with oppression and inequities and all that stuff. But to be an American to me is freedom, opportunity, quality, choice, access, whether that be access to goods or access to healthcare or access to resources, just having the ability to know that it's there if you need it. Not to say that this country does not struggle with inequities and oppression, but we are far, far more advanced than other countries. I do a lot of traveling, and I've gone to several other countries, and just to see the cultures that they have, and the oppression that they face. It's sometimes painful. Cuba is one of them. Very painful, very grateful for where I am today to be an American after leaving a country like Cuba.
No, totally understandable. I mean, and we get all kinds of different answers on that question because everybody's done a little bit different of traveling and things like that. So, um, totally understandable. I like that answer. I do want to say to everybody watching, if you do want to comment, please do it on the Let Freedom Ring page. For whatever reason, if it comes on my personal page, I don't get notifications on that. So please comment there or on the YouTube channel. Shout out to Kendall too, who did comment. Want to talk about this because like you are doing huge things, big things. We know you're sober. We know that you take that's your career at this point.
Yeah.
Gotta ask, how did you decide that? How did you decide you want to get sober?
Dan, the reason I got sober was not the reason I stayed sober. I can tell you that much. My first treatment center, I was 14 years old. I went out Long Island in Quincy, went to Project Rebound. I was 14, 15 years old. The court system sent me there. Definitely was not ready, but it planted the seed. And then, between 14 and 21 years old, it was just constant rehabs, detoxes, hospitalizations, mental hospitals, jails, court cases, constant hurting the family, losing everything, people, relationships, friends, sports. I lost it all. But what they tell me in AA is that consequences don't always keep you sober. But when I was 21 years old, I was in Florida. I had a slew of court cases open. And I was like a junior attorney in training. I was super organized and I knew everything about it all because I'm organized. I'm very, very meticulous when it comes to things like that. So I still remember to this day, Judge Off the Doll in West Palm Beach, Florida, looked at me and said, we're willing with the district attorney and said, we're willing to run everything right now concurrent in all of the counties that you have open, and we'll give you 5 years in state prison, or you can complete 90 days of treatment. Treatment, I go, right?
Yeah.
Going to treatment.
Yeah.
I don't need to go to prison. Never been to prison.
Yeah.
Just don't need to be there. Nope, not this guy. So obviously took the treatment, and I went through treatment, and I knew what to say, I knew what to do, I knew how to act, I knew what they were going to do. I could run the damn groups, but something changed, man. I found out I had some health issues. My family was kind of done with me, and they were loving me from a distance. My little brother was getting older. I have 7 brothers and sisters, and they all kind of looked up to me. And so the reason I got sober was because I didn't want to go to prison. The reason I stayed sober was because I found a community of individuals that were just like me. They were just like me, especially in South Florida, in the epicenter of recovery. And then I just grew from there, and I did what they told me to do. I fell short plenty of times. I was a bad human being for a little while. But I learned from my mistakes, and the Albert Einstein thing of doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. I knew what the results were going to be, Dan.
Yeah.
I knew that I was going to end up in jail, in prison, dead at that point. I have wounds all over me. I have scars, holes, you name it. I'm sure you can put two and two together. I was not a good person, and I made that decision, and I stuck with it. And the only thing that I did right every day, Dan, was I didn't do drugs. That's the best answer I got for you. I didn't pick up, but I hurt a lot of people. I hurt myself, and now today I have my family. I've owned businesses. I currently own businesses. I'm employable. I have a wife, which is wild to me, who loves me, and got dogs, got a house, So things just kept on falling in place, man.
Well, we're glad, because I will say this: in the softball community, we love you. You are very well loved.
I appreciate that.
How now, like, and we talked about this a little bit, but like, how does it change? Like, how to improve your life? Like, is it just like this feels good, like, or is it? It has to be like a big, like, that's behind me. I'm moving forward.
Then it changed everything about my life, physically, mentally, spiritually. I'm not a big religious guy. Doesn't mean I'm not spiritually fit, right? And again, I still fall short. I was not mentally there, right? Medication, stuff like that. I had some stuff going on. My physical health was not good. I had liver issues. I had heart issues, and holes. I needed to take care of a lot. And I can say now, today, I have some issues, right? You see me, I walk around with knee braces, and I got some
I feel
issues
like we
with
all
some.
do.
Yeah. I just got old really young,
Yeah.
and it's improved everything. I mean, the biggest gift, and I tell people all this, my biggest gift today is the ability to show up. I have never, using drugs, been able to show up unless it benefited me. And today, now I get to show up for my family, my wife, my friends. Like today, a group of sober individuals showed up for one of our soldiers who was in pain and who needed us. And that's what I get to do today. So it's just improved every aspect of my life, man. And now, again, the biggest thing is I show up. And sometimes I don't want to. Sometimes I just don't want to show up, dude. But I know that somebody, if that was me, they would show up. It's just who I am.
And what's do you feel is like the biggest challenge of all that?
Time, dude.
Okay.
Time. And and some people listening, or you might know about AA and NA and CA sponsorship. Like right now, I don't sponsor anybody, which is not in my nature, because I used to sponsor the world and take everybody through the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous and do all this stuff. And now if I do that, I take that on, like I'm going to be more of a disservice to somebody, because I just don't have the time. The little time that I do, I put it to my wife. My wife needs a lot of time, and I need to give her that time, and I need to be there. Without her, I'm fucking nobody. Excuse my language. But
We'll edit
it's
that.
work.
Oh, we're good.
It's work. I travel. I'm on the road constantly. 100 to 150 flights a year. And then I have softball. So it's my wife, work, softball, friends. But yeah, time, bandwidth. That's the biggest challenge. Outside of that, one biggest challenge is that you can't help them all. And a bunch of us were talking about that over the last couple of weeks. It's been a theme that you just can't help everybody, and everybody doesn't want it, and they have to hit their bottom. And I am a great enabler. But all I can do is just love you until you love yourself. So we bury a lot of people. I was told early on that I'm going to have to walk over dead bodies in order to stay sober, and that has been the truth. I've buried more friends than I would want than I wanted to.
No, and that's tough, and I understand. Like you're taking on a lot, and what you do is like that's you're doing God's work, in my opinion. Um,
Good way to put it.
I have to ask this though. You had to deal with your own stuff, right? What made you decide that you wanted to start helping others? Because that, like to me, is so big that, you had your own stuff and you wanted to help other people do it. And that's like what you're doing day to day. How did you decide, like, I want to help people?
I think I always wanted to help people. Like I said, human service has always been in my blood. Um, Early on, just in sports, always being the team captain and always being around and just always picking up my team when they needed to be picked up and then picking me up as well. Uh, Coaching younger kids, I always wanted to lead, at least try to lead. And help other people. And that they could be older than me, they could be younger than me. It was just one of those things that I really enjoyed. And I think at first it when I was using helping out people just kind of helped me validate or justify my using, I should say. That's a better way to put it. Justify me was like, well, I'm helping this person, so I'm really not that bad. Um, and then moving on, when I got well, I think my sponsor was like he was like a staple in the AA community. And I just watched what he was doing, and people just kind of flocked to him and everybody was attracted to him. And I could see it was like you could visually see like the impact that he was making in people's lives. And I wanted that. And I just carried it on. I don't help everybody. Some people don't like my approach, to be honest with you. And if you don't like it, you don't like it. I'm just not for you. I'm not gonna beat around the bush. I'm gonna be straightforward. I'm old school when it comes to this stuff. Either you're gonna get it or you're not. Um, but I just enjoy it. It's something about me. Um, yeah,
Do you
kind of in my
feel
blood.
like do you feel like you're helping more than the people that don't buy into that? Or
Yeah, yeah. Sometimes I try too hard, and some people just don't want the help. Some people just don't want the help, and that's on them. At least I can put my head down at night knowing that I tried, and that's all I care about. I can at least put my head down. I made the call. I tried to talk to you. You didn't accept it. Or maybe you did, or maybe I planted the seed. But all I know is that at the end of the day, I can put my head down saying, I did everything that I could do to help.
no, I understand, but that has I could imagine that's like not the easiest thing to do. Because some
I want
people
to
they
wring their necks half the time, Dan. I want to be like, you can do this. It's like
yeah,
not that difficult. It's not that hard. And I feel like probably my coaches, when I can't hit the ball, which is normally 6 times out of 10, like, you can do this. And I don't know. It's so simple, but we overcomplicate it.
yeah.
That's really what it is. We overcomplicate this stuff, and it's not that hard. It's not that hard. It's a lifestyle. It's boring. Getting sober is not boring. I have done some of the most wild stuff. Traveled the country. I've traveled the world. I've gone to festival. I went to the country's largest festival sober. I was probably one out of the group of us, 5 out of 320,000 people sober. But I got to experience that, which is is incredible, and I got to enjoy it and remember it rather than not remember it.
No, no, totally understandable. I get that, and like I said, what you do is honestly, I couldn't applaud you more.
Appreciate it.
Um, what's your biggest passion for what you do?
Honestly, the ability to help people and get paid, right? It's not like I'm selling widgets. I'm not selling this. I'm not selling that. I'm honestly I'm selling a new way to live. I'm selling another opportunity. And you don't just get the treatment, like, you get me, right? And you get the staff, like Maddie Lee. You don't find people as authentic as Maddie Lee.
I
Mitch
couldn't
Pierce.
speak higher of him than what a great
These
guy.
people are incredible. Matty
Yeah.
Lee, Mitch Pierce, Adam Lee. Like these are guys that are killing it. So it's like we're not just selling you something that like is not worth it. We're selling you a new way of life and get to help people and get paid. No better way. No better way.
No, I love to hear that. Like that's actual passion
Yeah.
and getting compensated for it.
And
You know?
one of the big things now is, when I first started in this industry, I was treating more of like an affluent population, and it wasn't as rewarding because affluent population, people that have a little bit of money can go wherever they want, right? So they can go door to door, pay the money, have the insurance. Now I get to treat, the Medicaid population and the indigent population. Dan, there's nothing more rewarding than seeing somebody come in broken, homeless, no family, sores, infections, me, right? It's just me walking through the door, and then in 30, 60, 90 days later, watching them walk out the door, completing, and then coming back to work for you in a year. There's nothing better than it. There's nothing better than that.
No, I love to hear that. That's like I said, I could sing your praises this whole episode. So I do applaud what you do, and that is amazing, and I could see that like you're really helping people, and I think that's like the most important thing like that you can do. You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
um, I do want to talk about this though. You've had some success with sober softball.
Aha.
You guys have been Rock Bomb's been doing some good things here. Um, how did you start coaching that?
So in Florida, we played a little bit, you know.
Because I will say, I remember you showed up to Sunday Co-ed and didn't know even what the balls we hit or anything like that.
Nothing,
And
nothing. It was
I'm
it was
like,
a new style.
couple years later, I'm like, Chris Foster's doing big things here.
Yeah, yeah. Maddie got me into Sunday, right? Because in Florida, it's a different group, right? A bunch of the guys we played with in Florida were sober, but we use nets and different rules, and it wasn't U trip. It wasn't even ASA USA. So it was all new to me. Um, it was Maddie, Mitch, Adam Lee, Amadeus, I think were some of the starters that started up the Rock Bottom team. And boy, I remember it was my brother. My brother was a big player in this area, played for Jade, and Jade was putting on a tournament. And we said, "Screw it, let's put the team in." And this was back the Dougies. This is
Oh,
before
I remember the
Rock
Dougies.
Bottom,
Yes.
bro. We entered this tournament and they didn't use a flip-flop rule. They didn't use any of that. Dude, it must have been the second inning, and we were getting hit like 50-2, and they wouldn't call the game. And we just battled and we got better. We played with teams that were better than us. A couple of the guys joined another team, a couple of guys stopped showing up, and from there we just grew the brand. And I was in Texas, and I was introduced to one of my buddies now, Maddie, who introduced me to CSNSA, which is an affiliate of U-Trip, similar to like GSL, and played for a tournament at CSNSA, and it was amazing. It was 2,000 competitive softball players who were all C players, D players, E players, some rec. Um, and I said, we're bringing the Rock Bottom team down here. So Rock Bottom 2.0 came together, and we just grew. We just grew. And the beautiful thing about it is now we're making noise, right? So we're making some noise, and now it's becoming a little bit more attractive to people. So they're like, yeah, I'm sober. And to me, if you tell me you're sober, you're sober. As long as I know you're not shooting drugs and being a menace, you're sober is you're sober. Sober comes in so many different forms. If you don't come to the softball field and you're drinking, and like I visually can't see that you're doing drugs, then you're sober. You identify as a man in recovery, and that's good enough for me. So now like the team is just growing, and now I believe that New Hampshire or New England is going to be able to bring 2 teams, maybe even 3 teams down to Florida Worlds, which is incredible.
New Hampshire is just, we've had a lot of softball people on the show. Man, it's not just Southern New Hampshire now. It's growing across the state.
Yeah.
Like, it's cool to see. And then you guys go down there and you're winning. Like, it's great to see,
The first one, was a lot of them haven't played down in Florida, so I got the opportunity to play there, but turf fields, and it was new to everybody. And it was really our pitcher from Texas, this guy Chad and Amadeus, and a few of them who really just led the team. I mean, we were having barn burners, dude. It was like 4-2 and 6-7, but we just battled and battled and battled, and then we got double dipped by this Colorado team they're just studs. And now for the last 3 years, it's every tournament we go to, Texas, Colorado, Florida, it's always us in Colorado. We're just at each other, and we have a fun time doing it. And first year we came in second, and then second year in Worlds, third in uppers, which I think was D. And then we won men's E. We just kept on battling or whatever backwards. And then Texas, we just went down and we placed. It's just we've been doing good, and it's a team, it's a camaraderie, it's a unity. We're all coming together. We pick each other up. It's been a great experience.
We all love to see it. Like, honestly, like, there's just so many players on that team that I feel like a lot of us are like, I want those guys to win. Like, I really like everybody in New Hampshire is just behind you guys.
Yeah.
Dan,
let me make I'm going to say a bold statement. You put our team up. I'm not going to put people's names out there because I don't want to do that. I don't want to do it. But you take our team, I'll go up against any C team, any D team in this area in Massachusetts, and I'll guarantee you, we'll either beat them or we'll be right there with them the whole game.
Well, can you talk about who are some of the players on this team? Because honestly, I'm not gonna lie, it's a good freaking team.
Oh,
like, it's not, like, you got some ballers on there.
Oh yeah. So we have Mitch, we have Adam and Matt Lee, Amadeus, Tyler McCourtney, Sean Rand, Kyle Hamill, Lucas, Douglas, Jared, my buddy Luke from Florida, who, if anybody has played with him, a couple people, Pikachu's played with him, Jason Lacasse has played with him. This dude Luke, you could play 3 people in the infield, and this dude covered. Nasty, disgusting. And I got my buddy Jake from Ohio. There's a bunch of us. And then, a couple guys out in Texas, Andrew, Maddie, Russell, Kyle, Chad. We do good. And then our exempt players, Jordan and Ashley, have really came through. So we can have some exempt players, the spouses of the individuals on the team. And Jordan and Ashley came through Juju. And then one of my favorite guys is Casey Kyle from Kansas City. This man's a hype man. We all have fun together. But that's
now how are you recruiting? Like, so you get these guys from other states. How are you getting these guys?
Well, I knew some of the guys from Texas. I played with them. And they're not on the rock bottom team. We usually play against them, or they just sit there and scream and call us sandbaggers. So it's funny. The Texas guys that I'm friendly with and that I play with sometimes, they just went through and placed first for C's at the Budweiser tournament. It's like these guys mash. And then, my buddy from Florida, who was best friends with my brother, Casey Kyle, we met them through CSNSA. I mean, it's a community of guys in recovery. CSNSA has done a great job. And then the guys from Texas have a big tournament yearly that one of my buddies, Russell, puts on. He does a fantastic job. And it's a huge charity tournament, but it's a big deal. raises thousands of dollars for individuals who've overdosed, put people in treatment, pay for funeral costs, sponsors little league tournaments. The tournaments are great, Dan. They're just great.
No, it's a good way to raise money, and it's very difficult. I do have to give a shout out to Mitch. He's a good pitcher. I got to give him credit. Like I've seen a little bit of what he can do, and I'm like, that dude deserves a lot of credit.
Mitch was the MVP in was it in Florida? Mitch was the
Was he
MVP.
really like that dude deserves? He deserves some credit.
Mitch, and it's not even just so. Mitch is the most. I don't want to say it's not underrated. He's the best kept secret in New Hampshire.
People don't know.
People don't know him. And I want to say Colby said that. I want to say it was Colby in the beginning of the Merrimack Draft League. He said this boy Mitch. Mitch is a good all around player. Dude, stand up triples with no errors, doubles. He'll put the ball where it needs to be. Pitches great, fields great, and he's a team player. And the recipe has been lately is Mitch starts it, Amadeus comes right behind it and closes it. It's been a great tag team.
See, and I feel like this, like everybody knows Amadeus. Everybody knows how great he is, right? I was kind of like, I've watched a lot of stuff and I go, well, Mitch deserves people to like give him some credit. The kid can go.
Oh yeah.
So we're just giving a little shout out there. I just wanted to address that because I really think he's a good ball player. And
and he's modest, he's humble, he's a great father. He's a great boss. Mitch is the man.
What's the most rewarding part of being a coach?
Watching the team come together and getting the W. Without the guys, I mean, the guys can do it without me. There's no doubt about that. But it's everybody coming together and everybody understanding that, we have a roster of 14, 15, but we're playing 10, 12 games in a weekend that you're going to have to sit and we're going to have to play everybody. But I'm playing to win. So I'm fielding to win. And the sticks are going to be the people who are hitting are going to be the guys who are batting 700 plus. And they've all been cool with it. They've all been all right with it. They supported it. They'll come out and they'll say, listen, if you just need me to coach third base, if you need me to sit, I'll sit. There's been no arguments, and we always just pick each other up. And that's the most rewarding part. We're never at each other's necks. I mean, the most successful part is the trophies that I got in the back of the office. I mean, it's bragging rights. People say, well, what? My wife said, well, what's a coach? Like, what is it? What do you don't get paid? I'm like, no, I get bragging rights. Like I get to walk, down at the complex in Florida, knowing that we took first place in the prior year and everybody wants you. And we got a bullseye on our back and we're going to continue to just run through teams. I love it. It's a clout.
I'll tell you this: nobody in slow pitch softball that ever coached is like no one gets paid.
Yeah.
You put yourself out there and you do the best that you can. It's hard.
That's it. And if we lose, we lose. There's times that we've taken some hard losses and we should have won, and we pick each other up and we just continue to battle back. That's what it is.
You got a good group there. Great guys. There's got to be a most challenging part, though. What's the most challenging part of coaching that team?
Well, the most challenging part are really logistics. Dan, you may know, I'm a numbers guy through and through. So the way I coach teams are it's based on numbers, data, statistics. I am 100% all about the numbers, and I watch people. I watch where they go. I can normally tell you where they're going to go. So that stuff just comes natural to me. I can watch you play for one day and know exactly where you're going to go based on, certain scenarios. That stuff is easy. The hardest thing is logistics with the teams with traveling, right? So worlds. I don't do a lot of worlds. I don't do co-ed. Maybe I'll do men's this year.
Yeah.
But getting them down to Florida the week after, D mixed, that's hard. So you got D, and then you got D mixed, and then you have sober worlds. I can't, I can't assume that everybody's going to make it. And I have no problem. As long as we go out there, we have fun. I'll put some extra money up. I'll make sure that you have a fun time. I got some airline points. I'll do what I can as long as we have fun and you go get me that $5 trophy. I'm good. But yeah, it's getting people there.
Yeah.
That's the hardest part. Locally, I can do it. I wish we played more as a team because I do think we would smoke some teams. Bold statement, but I'm making it.
I think Matt Lee is giving a shout out to Mitch. And Matt, we're going to hit your questions too. But I think Mitch, yeah, he deserves credit. He really does.
100%. 100%.
But yeah, any other challenges that come with that? Like, I know that's not easy. Coaching a team is not easy, especially when you're going to Florida.
Yeah. No, it's just logistics. That's the most difficult thing. I honestly think coaching is something that comes natural. I don't care. Like I said, I care about. I have feelings, but I'm fielding to win. If I'm traveling 1,500 miles away, I am fielding to win, and that's it. And you have to understand it. Mitch is a perfect example. Mitch did not play a lot in co-ed after he won the MVP for men's. He pitched 14 games in 2 days, but then we had a huge roster. He said he came in, he sub re-entried a little bit, but that's hard for me. Mitch is my guy, and
Team guy,
we're best
though.
friends. I don't want to, but that's the challenging part.
No, understandable there. I do want to get to the fan questions because you had a bunch, and some fan questions and some comments. First one from Max Vignola. I know you're playing with him on the Thunder Buddies. How did he manage to get so handsome? Do you have an agent, or is it just good genetics? What is this?
Oh, you want to talk about genetics? Jesus. My dad gave me the hair. So my dad gave me the head of hair, the horrible facial hair, and a bad drinking problem. My mother gave me the eyes and the craziness. I don't want to say mental health, but she gave me that the pep in my step. I don't know. My mother's a good looking woman. My dad's a beautiful man. I don't know. Now I take care of myself. I did not take care of myself at all. I don't know. I feel like I'm getting old. But thank you,
Trust
Max.
me.
I appreciate it very much so.
From Jordan Hillier, I think she goes by Juju. Is that
Juju.
correct? Yeah, she goes by Juju most. Is she a
Shut
lefty?
up.
I think she was
So
lefty.
there's something about like when she was in high school, the coach had her go oppo so she could just Judy them on in and just slap them. But she can go both sides. Just great player, great left fielder, studette.
Good ball player. I did not appreciate in the tatas her questioning my calls because I'm not an umpire. But
so always question your calls and get thrown out of world championship.
Well, I didn't want to throw anybody out during that. I'm like, this charity tournament. Stop, arguing with me. But
competitive.
She said best coach around.
I don't know. There's a lot of good coaches. I love my team. And I'm nobody without the team. Good group of people, and we vibe. We have a great time. But I'll take the compliment, run with it. We have some trophies to prove it, but again, without the team, I don't have the trophies. I just get the lucky one because I put the logistics together and don't have the time, but find the time to do it. But I'll take that. I do make good calls, and I'm usually good with my sub re-entries and some of the decisions I make that most people won't make. And I watch teams in tournaments. I'm like, you should have done this or that would have happened. And I'm like, if I was doing your book, you would have made that decision and you would have won, but you didn't. Haha.
And you got to have to coach in softball. You got to have that high IQ. You got to understand what's going on. And I think there's a lot of times that a lot of coaches don't get that.
Yeah.
and it is
Well,
what it
they're
is.
afraid to hurt feelings, which I don't
Well,
I don't care.
that's the thing. Like, as a coach in softball, you should never be walking on eggshells. You make the choice, and it is what it is.
Politics, I don't do well with it, but yeah.
Yep, the politics of softball sometimes are a problem, but it is what happens. From Colton Treflich, I think I want to say Treflich. Do you know him? Am I saying
Yeah.
the last name? It's his first time question from him, so I know it's about you. Um, can you chuck wood though?
So we went camping, and I am not good with an axe. Just not. I think that's what he was referring to. I can see the direct correlation between what he was saying, and this man is a monster. He's one of those Texas boys.
Oh boy.
Yeah, he's a big dude, and he was axing some wood, and I just could not. I don't know. I wasn't that agile. I don't know.
We're New
But I think
Hampshire
that's
boys. We don't really do that.
exactly. And we have devices today that do it. Like I said, I don't hike because it doesn't do the work for me. We have axe choppers and landscaping companies. So, no, I still can't. Thank you for the question, though.
You got another handsome comment from Jared. I never know how to say Jared's last name.
Lafreniere,
Lafernier. Thank you.
Lafreniere, French,
Um,
I think.
well, and
Jared's a
I'm also a
good-looking man
Frenchman,
too.
and I pronounced it wrong. So Jared, we apologize. I apologize. Um, also saying he's just so handsome too.
Jared's a good-looking man.
These guys are
I
like,
used to
they're
hate
really
him.
into you.
I used to hate Jared until I got to
Oh,
know him. I couldn't stand him, and then I got to know him. I was like, I like Jared. And Jared is a good ball player, boy. He put a lot of work in, and 2.5 years ago, he couldn't do what he does today. That boy's backside is incredible. His fielding is getting better week by week. He is a good ball player.
he's a good ball player, and I'll be honest, he's a good dude too.
He is. He's an awesome
Yeah.
dude. He'll help people out all the time. He's in the field. He's been doing this for a while now. He's going to college. He's getting his master's. Yeah, I love good friend. I do love Jared.
All right, now Matt Lee has chimed in a little bit here. He wants to know, what's your favorite accomplishment in softball? He has another one too.
Favorite is probably the World Tournament, is Worlds, or really just keeping the core guys together. I think there's going to be some new faces to our team this year, but going to Worlds and just keep on progressively going up. Right, we started at E, then we're going into D. Now we have to win a D tournament. We have to. But yeah, I think just taking that trophy home, taking those rings home, and then going to Texas. That was a big one. Winning in Texas a couple months ago, and now we're not going to Colorado. I'm going to go play with a couple of friends, and actually Juju's going to go along. I'm going to go with Juju, and we're going to have some fun. But come November, we got to bring home a trophy and just keep on going.
And he also wants to know, who's your favorite employee?
It's my favorite employee.
Is it
I
Matt
don't know if
Lee? I
it's
don't
Matt.
know.
I don't
He
know.
asked the question.
I don't know if it's Matt Lee. I don't think it is. I think my favorite employee is in Indiana. But Matt's up there. Matt has come a long way. Matt was a case manager 3-4 years ago, and now he's running a facility, and he does a damn good job doing it. And I feel safe with trusting him at the center and making sure that everything's going to get done properly and clients are going to get taken care of.
I couldn't speak higher of him. Like, he's been a guest on the show. Like, Matt Lee is a very genuine human being. Like,
Yeah,
that's the vibe I get from him.
yeah, no, he 100% is, and he's a great father, soon to be husband. He's just an all around good dude. Pain in my ass, but he's a good dude. He's come a long way.
Yeah.
He's come a long way.
All right, I want to get into top fives here. Do you have a top 5 TV shows?
Top 5 TV shows. Did you ever ask this to anybody else?
Pretty much weekly. So,
Do you? Jesus.
damn
I'm
it, Foster,
into.
you don't watch my show? Like,
No, I do. I didn't know it was 5. I thought it was 2. But
no, we
okay,
do
so
top fives here. This is a
top
top
5.
five segment on Let
Top
Freedom
5.
Ring. Anybody watching out there?
So there's two types of movies I'm into. I'm into like prison shows and I'm into medical shows. So
Okay.
love The Good Doctor, love The Resident, um, and then kind of like the Wentworth, which is a female prison Australian movie which probably nobody knows about it. Great
Which is
Netflix
good because
series.
people watch and they learn new stuff. So,
You have to watch Wentworth. Fantastic. Mayor of Kingstown, which was new. I think it was Hulu. That was a great opener. Loved it. And I've got into the new show, they're All American.
okay.
Really like that. I think that would be my 5. So Good Doctor, Resident, All American, Wentworth Prison, and Mayor of Kingstown. I think that's it.
All right. Now, do you have a top 5 favorite movies? I think this is easier of a question here.
I'm not a big movie guy, but it
Okay.
is. It is. So my top favorite is probably Draft Day. Draft Day in
Ooh,
The Accountant.
Kevin Costner.
The Accountant was great because I think it was perfect. I want to kill people, but like love numbers. Little Rascals is old school favorite. Sandlot 1, not Sandlot 2.
No,
Um,
there's only one Sandlot. We'll ignore that other one happened.
exactly. And I got it. Yeah, I actually have it. My little plaque right here. So
Oh, hell yeah. There we go.
big, big fan. And then my last one got to be Pulp Fiction, man. Got to
Another
be
great
Pulp
movie.
Fiction.
1994 was a big year for you then.
Young, I
Like
don't know if it was 1994. You're a better man than me for knowing that.
you
But
pulled out a lot of stuff from 94, so I appreciate that. Now, I got to ask this question. This is the hard one. And we're going to ask you some more hard questions coming up.
okay.
Who are the top 5 so
You're breaking up. I think you asked me a hard question, but you broke up.
Oh, wait.
Can you hear me? That's you. It's not me.
Good.
Can you hear me? I think I'm in his own show without him. This is interesting. I am now the host. There he is.
Are we good?
I think we're good. I was the
All
host of
right.
the
I was
show.
about to just throw my headset. So, top 5 sober softball players in New Hampshire.
In New Hampshire.
Yes.
I'd have to go with the originals, right? I'd have to go with the originals. Maddie, Mitch, Adam Lee, Amadeus. Probably Jared. I'd say Jared. I want to say either Jared or Dugas was one of they joined around that time. It may have I think it might have been Jared. But yeah, Adam Lee, Matt Lee, Mitch, Amadeus, Dugas, and Jared. Give me 6.
Okay. All right. No,
Dugas is a
that's a
stud.
good group. Like, dude, I will say this 100%. I will take Amadeus on my team any day of the week. He's been a guest on this show. Like, he's a good fucking guy.
He is.
I did not mean to swear on the show. We don't usually do that, but he really is. He's a great guy.
He's a good guy, man. He is a good guy.
All right, now we're going to hit you with the toughest segment in Let Freedom Ring, which is blank versus blank. I'm going to give you two things. You got to pick one and tell me why. Now, first one. I'm just going to get this out of the
You're breaking up again.
way.
Nope, you're breaking up.
All right, we good? Are we live?
We're live.
Jesus, we apologize, everybody. Yeah, we got some issues going on here. All right, Foster, blank versus blank. We got to ask you. First one, who's more responsible for the success of the New England Patriots over the last 20 years? Bill Belichick or Tom Brady? Yeah, it's a
Belichick.
question.
Belichick.
Okay.
No doubt about it.
Just because he's the coach, or
Oh, you want an explanation?
you gotta give a why.
Um,
You gotta give a why here.
without Belichick, you wouldn't have Brady. He wouldn't have made that decision. I mean, maybe his analysts and the owner or the chairman or Kraft or somebody would have made that decision, but that decision's usually kept with the head coach on when they're fielding their chart. And he wouldn't have made that decision, and maybe he would have ended in Michigan. I don't know. But without the coach, he wouldn't have made it. So, and then developed him over those years. I mean, listen, if it wasn't for that Bledsoe hit, would Brady have really made it in? Bledsoe still had a couple more years. So if anything, I think it was the Jets, right, that made that hit against.
Mo Lewis or whatever his name was. He took
Yeah,
out.
so I think
Bledsoe.
I think it's Belichick, the Jets, and then Brady. So I think I think Brady needs to thank the Jets.
I do too. I'm a Belichick guy. Stone Cold Steve Austin or Hulk Hogan?
Holy shit.
Yeah, these aren't easy.
Hulk Hogan.
Okay.
And for personal reasons, so Hulk Hogan's a philanthropist and does a lot of work. And I don't know if Steve Austin is, but if I look at what media does to the world, and I'm not one of those guys, trust me, but with the bear cracking and the craziness and the gestures in the mouth, does he attract people? Yes, but he's also promoting a different way of living. Hulk Hogan, on the other hand, has done a lot of good with his money, and has helped a lot of charities. And he was never as vulgar, if I remember.
I would say like Steve Williams, Stone Cold, is a better human being. Terry Bollea, Hulk Hogan, not so good of a guy. But I will say like Hogan, I always pick Hogan because I loved Hulk Hogan. I
Yeah.
still love Hulk Hogan.
And I got to party with Hulk Hogan, which was really cool. And that was another thing I did in sobriety. He was had the table in front of us at a huge concert, and he was there. I got to see him live in action. It was awesome. Steve Austin, not so much.
All right. Big Papi or Manny Ramirez?
Big Papi, baby, all day. I have. If you can see on my back wall here, I got two pieces, and then I got the farewell Papi right here. I'm a huge Papi guy. Huge. I got his quote in the back. I got a bunch of stuff here. Nope, Papi all day.
I'm going to that Hall of Fame induction. Like I can't miss it. So
no, that man's a legend.
Coca-Cola or Pepsi?
Coca-Cola.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I think it's more American to say Coca-Cola. Like, can I get a cola? Can I get Coca-Cola? You don't see Pepsi trucks like you do Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola. I believe this is Coca-Cola too.
I totally agree with that. Like, I do like Pepsi, but like, if I'd rather have a Coke. LeBron James or Michael Jordan?
Not a big basketball guy.
But you got to pick one.
Yeah. LeBron James. He does it for the kids, man.
Thank you.
I think Michael Jordan did too. Of course he did. Of course, right? But I'd say LeBron James because the talent got a lot harder over the years, and to navigate the talent that they come up with nowadays, it's totally different. Although everybody just shoots 3-pointers nowadays, nobody crashes the boards. It's not even a fun game to watch anymore. So Michael Jordan had a difficult play.
Go Free Jacks. I do love the NBA. I'm gonna root for the Celtics, but go MLR. Let's go rugby. Would you rather play softball or baseball?
Loved baseball. Played a little in college before I was asked to leave. I think softball, man. And the longer I stay around the sport, now I'm getting into umping and umping some games and some tournaments, and I love it. I don't think there's anything better than being in the field. If you can't be the best, play with the ump the best. Although they chirp and they get under my skin a little bit, I'm able to control the game. So I'd rather play and ump softball. Just be around the sport, really.
All right, toughest one in blank versus blank. This is where we ask the real question. We're gonna nail you with this. You play on the Thunder Buddies tournament team. One plays for them, one now does not, but he's also been a teammate of yours. Michael Schultz or Lee?
You broke up.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
We might cancel this tough one. Matt Lee or Michael Schultz?
As in what?
Who would you rather have in your outfield?
Michael Schultz. Who would I rather have on my team? Matt Lee.
Okay. Oh, I like that answer.
I mean, that's Mike Schultz. I mean, that's an obvious. But who would I have on my team by my side? Matt Lee.
See, I take both those guys. It wouldn't even be a question. Like I'm like, yeah, can I get Matt Lee and Michael Schultz?
100%. But you ask Matt Lee that question, he'll say the same thing. Schultz is a good ball player. I'll take Mitch over both of them. So it's
because Mitch can pitch. You got to go with that. So
putting some LBs on though, that boy can't be in the outfield, man. I don't know.
No, but Foster, I really appreciate you coming on. This has been a blast. I wish we could have been in studio. I know things kind of happened today, but I appreciate that you were able to come on the live stream tonight.
Anytime, man. And I appreciate all the kind words and everything you do. And if I can ever be of service, man, you just let me know.
All right, sounds good. Well, everybody out there, keep your heads up. Nothing but love for you guys. But until next time, let freedom ring.
All right, Tiny Pipes. Appreciate you.
All right.